Jackie.
And this is Heather.
And welcome to
Millennial Mom Chatter, your go-to podcast for candid conversations and fresh perspectives.
We're just two millennial moms navigating life one hilarious audio message at a time. Join us for laughs, adventures, and real talk. Hi, everybody. We are so happy to be back with you all.
Yes.
It's been busy. I feel like we say
has.
that all the time, but it truly has been busy in between each episode. So we're happy to be here. How has your week been, Heather?
It's been going. I am feeling like sluggish today. I'm just like, the time of the month came this morning and I feel a little under the weather. But I'm okay. I just feel like, also we did a workout yesterday that pretty much broke my back.
Not to mention pickleball plus a workout.
Yes. I don't think it's the pickleball though, but we did like these bent rows and I just feel like I broke my back doing that. I felt it when I was doing it. I don't know if you did, but I did.
It's not a natural position. The girl basically had us like at a 90-degree angle, like properly bent in half to do these rows. Like
she really was bent in half.
Yeah, she was.
And I was like, I don't think I can match that.
No. But it was a good workout. Caroline
Gervin?
Yes, that sounds
She's
right.
She's great.
No, I love her workouts because you're the one that introduced me to them, but I just can't match all of her moves. So
yeah, she actually went on a hiatus, I think. I don't think she's been back for a year or two.
Dang.
I think she ended up going to app-based and then she never returned to YouTube. But she has so many workouts that you're not going to get tired of them. So.
No, I could see that for sure. I'm looking forward to diving into more of her workouts because she's super fun and cute and the way she sets her stuff up is phenomenal. So yeah, I love it.
How's your day or your week?
It's been good. For our listeners, this is a little bit of tidbit, too much information, but Heather and I have basically synced up, because I am finishing up my cycle. So, but still having all the annoying side effects of PMS, wanting to eat all of the things, not feeling 100%.
Of womanhood?
Yeah, for sure. It's great. I love being a woman. It's fantastic. Just give me all the coffee and the chocolate and the snacks and I'll be good to go.
Yeah. We did get Oreo mint chocolate chip.
That was delicious.
Sandwiches?
If anyone is an Oreo fan, jump on these Oreo mint chip ice cream sandwiches. They are so cool.
Yeah, they're really good. Mm-hmm. I'm not usually into mint chocolate chip, but I felt like this is pretty good.
Yeah, it's delicious.
It felt light. That was what was nice.
Yeah, it's not too heavy. Like the Reese's peanut butter cup ones, those are definitely decadent and rich.
Yeah, you can have a few bites and you're like, okay, that's a lot.
Yeah.
This was no.
Yeah. Much lighter.
I could have eaten 2.
For sure. Yep.
But it's a little bit different, this setup, is because of technical difficulties and echoing, we are recording separate, but in the same house.
Yeah, believe it or not.
So right now, I'm watching Jackie on a video in the next room.
Yeah. It's for your guys' sake. This sounds better than what we were doing sitting next to each other. So you guys can appreciate this.
Podcasting is, like we said in the last episode, is hard. I really thought it would be easier with sound and quality, and it's not.
Yeah, because technically it should be a very simple concept.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the platforms technically make it more challenging than it has to be.
Agreed. Why can we not just have 2 mics attached, connect, have the voice isolation like Apple?
Yeah.
But no, it's fine.
Yeah, why can't Apple, this is for you. Come out with an app that allows for podcasting and it's just straight from the iPhone. Where it's basically a FaceTime phone call but recorded. And then you can just have that conversation between 2 people. Sorry, Android.
Figure this out. we're gonna figure this out. Like it's gonna be crystal clear one day.
Yes.
One day.
But that's okay. It's okay. We're getting it done, and hopefully, everyone tunes in and sticks around while we're here until we get here, like in quality. One day, guys.
Yeah, one day. And one day we're going to be like very consistent. Starting now. We're committed.
Yes, we're committed for sure.
It's just a lot's been happening.
Yeah, it's been very busy.
It's like weather's been terrible. So our children have been, like just inside.
Yeah, so we're basically actually having to like watch our kids. Really.
Entertain them. And then obviously like more technology happens, and then more technology means their brain is mush and poor behavior. And
all the tantrums, all of it.
Yeah. So here we are, surviving.
Yeah.
I just got back from vacation. Jackie was lovely and watched our children. We've had a funeral from a family member this past week, and all the things. So I feel like it's just been chaotic, and we haven't been able to be 100% consistent as we want it to be.
Yeah.
But we're back, baby. We're back.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm not going to lie. I think once the kids are back in school, this sounds really awful. We're only halfway through summer, and I'm already like, I'm much more productive when the kids are in school. Like, I don't know.
Yes.
I feel like I just get more done, like when they're not around.
Yes. So this actually can go right into one of the topics.
Ooh.
That this is going to be this needs to be a poll.
Yes.
Because, so we read an article I found this out from my cousin. My cousin lives in just south of Dallas in Waxahachie. And her kids are going to school in August. I'm not sure what kind of school it is. I'm pretty sure it's like a charter public school. They only have school 4 days a week. What is
4
that?
days? Wow. Yeah.
So they go to school Monday to Thursday.
Dang.
So what do we feel about that, and why are they doing this?
I would reckon, or I would guess, that people are probably trying to save on cost. Like, this is probably a budget efficient way to keep costs low for school districts, potentially, or to not have to pay teachers.
Yeah, but this is the problem. Teachers already make terrible money.
Facts.
And then now they're going to, I just don't see them making salary the same. And then they also work 1 day less. Like, I just don't see that being the case. So.
No, that's true. Because, their salary is going to stay the same. So maybe they're just really looking at cost of like a building, cafeteria workers.
Do you think they would? I would think they wouldn't keep the salary the same. They're like, you're working 1 day less a week.
That's a real big shame. I think a lot of teachers, they already want to quit. So I feel like they're going to push more teachers out if they say now you're going to only work a 4-hour or a 4-day work week plus a reduced salary. I think we're going to see a lot of like teachers strike or want to quit or step back because they just can't sustain a lifestyle with that type of paycheck.
Yeah, I just don't see how it can be like, it's in theory sometimes, like for certain things, it's a good thought. But like childcare, people work. Like, what are they supposed to do with their kid on Friday?
Yeah.
Like,
so
there's
I think
going to be daycares that are only open on Friday?
Yeah, just for the schools that operate on a 4-day work week or school week. Yeah, excuse me. But the other thing too is I really only think this system works for older kids. If you're going to have a job and you're going to be out of the house, the only kids that this is going to work out for are high schoolers, where they can come home and they know that on Fridays they have to get their homework done. They have to stay home, do what mom and dad say and wait till mom and dad come home from work. And that's like really the only way, because my kids are not old enough to stay home alone. Like, so basically that means I can't work on Fridays. So,
well, yeah, that's why I think it works for either people that stay at home or older kids. But on the other hand, like, yes, we stay home, but I don't want my kid home on a Friday. It's like one more day for sounds terrible. I had my kids and I love them to pieces, but one more day to entertain, and like one more day they're going to be on technology or not like working their brain. You know what I mean? Like, the reality is most parents are going to have their kids home and they're going to play video games and watch TV.
Yes, facts.
And
then also
I
I
don't
think
know if I see that beneficial.
I think the only benefit that people are going to tell you is that the kids, it boosts their morale because now kids are technically only in school for 4 days and not 5 days. So they're like 3-day weekend every weekend. Like that's great for kids. And then the other thing is families potentially want to utilize that day as a vacation day, but that's not everybody. And that's not going to be every week. So like really being able to tap into that, like.
Right. That's like a few and far in between, right? Like say even if you go on 3 vacations in a year, that's like 3 Fridays that you had to take off. Like it's really not that.
Yeah.
It's really not that beneficial. And I don't know. I think kids adapt to like whatever they're in, right? So like they complain now that like, oh my God, I only have Saturday and Sunday. But like when they're 6 months into the year of school, they're going to complain they only have 3 days. So like, I don't see that the morale would like last.
No, that's a good point too. Yeah. Or we could just go full throttle and be like the UK and go to year-round school, then go ahead and switch the kids.
So does year-round school, is that 5 days a week?
Yes. But I wonder though, like they could utilize a 4-day work or school week, I think. Like they could, if they're going to go year-round, like why not?
Yeah. So is it slower paced?
No, so they get longer breaks throughout the year. So they get then a proper fall break, a proper spring break, and like longer breaks. Whereas our kids only get like a week when they have, the traditional 8-month school year. So usually they have longer breaks. And that's how they get their extra weeks.
So they don't have any extra weeks than we do?
No, not typically. It doesn't make the school calendar longer.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's nice.
It's nice for traveling because Americans are forced to only travel during Christmas break and summer break. So a lot of these destinations are very busy and prices go up, whereas some European schools, or mostly in the UK, I guess you could say, is able to travel throughout the year and tap into those extra breaks.
Yeah, I could think they can tap into those extra breaks because like it's not busy because of us.
Yeah.
But
because America definitely is a summer break vacation culture.
Right. So like if we all did that, then everywhere we would go would be also busy.
Yes.
On those
so
days.
Year-round school would be ruined by the Americans.
They would be like, no,
if we all switch to that. Yeah, they're like, please don't switch to the same thing that we're doing. We have a good system in place right now. Like we get to travel the world whenever we want. Like don't come at us, Americans. Like
yeah, it's so funny. The vacation culture is so different amongst different countries.
Yes.
Like over in Europe, it's like they go on a holiday for like a month, Yeah. And we do like, multiple trips that are like a week or a couple days so it's funny how like just the culture's just different, you know, like it's just not the same.
But I think too, whenever I've talked to people from overseas, they're really like envious that we live in a country that offers vacation destinations. Like we get to travel within our country and see really cool things, whereas a lot of people from Asia or Europe want to come to us to visit these sites, and they really don't have that opportunity. So like they have to come here for a month or 2 weeks or whatever, whereas we just get to bebop all over North America and see some incredible places. So I feel like we're really fortunate.
Do you feel like Europeans feel like all of Europe looks the same, so they don't really care to visit it?
I'm not sure if they would think it looks the same. I think once you visited the Eiffel Tower, once you visited London, like boom, it's done. Because that's like a weekend for them. So I wonder if they kind of are like I don't need to go back there multiple times. So I'd love to go America where there's just so much to see and it's gigantic. Like you can't just go visit Las Vegas in a weekend. You can't go visit New York City in a weekend. Like we have some really big sites. So I feel like they kind of look at it as like these are grand and we need time.
Yeah, but we're a little bit like the same. We're like, okay, we can only go to Orlando so many times.
Yeah, that's true.
But I saw a map actually recently that like Florida is larger than England.
Mm-hmm.
So they were comparing it like, when you Europeans come over here, you guys can't go to Disneyland or whatever, Disney World, sorry, and then also think you're just gonna go to the Everglades, like in the same day.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, that's like a very common misconception, where they're just like, surely you can just drive from New York City to Disney World in one day, right? And it's like, no, not possible. Like, you need time in between, and I think that's what a lot of people from overseas are like. Wow, like, we need to have all this time to like visit these places, because it's not like Europe at all. Can't hop on a train and go visit multiple places in one day. We're not set up that way. So
no, unfortunately.
One day.
Imagine if we could just like rip up all of the US and just like put some trains and subways everywhere. It would make our life easier.
Like a bullet train that just takes us from city to city. That'd be incredible. Like,
well, the Florida one, where's it supposed to end? I thought it was South Carolina. Is that not a thing anymore?
I honestly have no idea. I've not looked into that one.
I mean,
so
it's
I'm not
not a
sure.
bullet train, but it's like the Bright Line, which is like, it's fast.
Yeah.
I know it's the farthest it's hit right now is Port Canaveral, but I don't know. Like, I thought they were going to continue it on, but I don't know.
That'd be pretty cool. Get to work on that, people.
Yeah, because like Amtrak it's not cutting it.
No. I don't think whenever I look at like flights or anything, and I'm like, okay, I want to get from this place to this place, and they're like, train, bus, and I'm like, no, like, no, like, we're not gonna play. Like, I need an airplane.
Like, that's actually an option.
Yeah.
I mean,
would you like to take the Greyhound to get yourself from California to Florida? No, thank you.
Yeah. No, I did take the Amtrak from DC to New York.
That's not bad. I could see that.
It was like maybe an hour and a half.
That's not bad.
So it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
That was when I was pregnant with Rylan, and I had to throw up on the train and everything. It was awful. It was awful. I was like, Albert's like, are you fine? I'm like, I'm fine. I'll be fine. Fine.
Good to go.
I just had not good, like, my pregnancies were easy in the sense, like, I felt this is going to be like, you're going to be like, you're contradicting yourself. But I felt good. Like, physically, I felt good. Like, I could be pregnant all the time. And I loved being pregnant. Like, I loved feeling them move. I loved doing all the things. But I was nauseous all 9 months.
Dang.
Like, all 9 months. Like, from the beginning to the end. When I was pushing, I was throwing up. Like, it never let up.
Was that for all three or just for Rylan?
No, for all three.
Dang.
And so I would that's why I have ulcers in my esophagus right now. Because I just destroyed them in 3 pregnancies. So that would be the only thing if I ever got pregnant again, which I'm not going to. But that's the part that I'm just like, ugh. But I'm almost like, now that I've done it, was a total of 27 months.
Mm-hmm.
In my lifetime of just literally being sick 24/7, I'm like, what's 9 more? Like, I've almost gotten used to it. It's kind of weird sounding, but I've almost gotten used to it. So, but it's fine. I'm not going to ever experience that again. But that trip was funny. Then flying into DC, I also threw up on the plane.
Wow. Did you make it to the lavatory?
No.
Oh, no.
I did not make it to the lavatory. So we were pulling in, and it was super windy. And, like, literally the plane, like, I think we circled back 3 times.
Jeez.
Because they couldn't land for wind. And so, like, we were coming in doing the, like, bouncing up and down. And he would go to land and be like, nope. And then we'd take off again and circle back around. And I was like, oh, my gosh. So we ended up finally on the 3rd attempt landing, like, at an angle sideways. And it's December, like the end of December. It's windy. The runway's icy. It didn't feel safe at all. But from going up and down, I got so nauseous. And I thought I was okay. I was very much like a little kid in this case. I thought I was okay. You know how the kids are like, you're like, why didn't you go to the toilet? And they're like,
Yeah.
I didn't know. I felt like that. So I was like, are you okay? Do you need the bag? And I'm like, no, I'll be okay. Like, I'll be okay. And then all of a sudden it just came. It was like a split second. And so I had a hoodie in my lap and I just like pulled it up to my face and threw up in the hoodie. I didn't have time to grab the bag. Like there wasn't a shot. So I threw up right in my hoodie. Alvaro swears that he got some on him. I don't think so, but so I had to just like throw my hoodie away in the trash and hold it. I tried to like crump it up so like it wouldn't smell. But I think there was like possibly like 4 or 5 of us throwing up on the plane.
Jeez, wow.
And we couldn't get up because we're landing.
Yep. So the flight attendants couldn't even offer you guys assistance because no one was walking around.
Yeah. So that was really fun. So that was like the beginning of our trip. And I was like, this is a great start.
Yeah. Was this meant to be like a baby moon? Like a little getaway for you guys?
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if like, was baby moon a thing? I don't think I really ever heard of that until like somewhat more recent years.
I know we went on one for Liam's pregnancy. Well, we went on one for each of our pregnancies. So Rylan, I guess that's a couple of years prior to Jackson Liam's pregnancies. I guess
it's like 12 years ago. And I just don't remember. I feel like more recently people are making excuses for anything.
Yes,
right?
of
like,
course.
Oh, I need a push present. Oh, I need this. Oh, I need that. I just don't know. I'm not going to say they didn't exist. I just don't think it was something that was ever talked about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think everyone was like, I'm going on my baby moon.
No.
But yes, we did go, and it wasn't for any reason. We just could, I guess, without a kid.
Yeah. Oh, no, girl, I get it.
So it was fun. We did DC and New York, and it was good. I also got food poisoning on the trip in New York. Terrible. It was just like, and it was a good trip. We had fun, but it was just a lot of like sickness. You know what I mean? Like, it just.
You're like, can I just catch a break, please?
Yeah. I got food poisoning from a tuna melt in New York City. So I just don't know if I'll ever order tuna melt again.
You're like, that's not it. That's not the food. We don't order that.
So now I used to, people are always like, oh, you would get that somewhere. But like, I didn't even like bat an eye before. Yeah. And now I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't. So on every, like, anything fish related that's not like specifically a seafood restaurant, I'm like, maybe not. So like when you can get tuna melts from Subway, I'm like,
probably not. We're gonna avoid that. Yeah.
It's just like PTSD. I don't know if I've ever had a tuna melt since then. So maybe 12 years ago.
Wow.
Maybe I need to try it again.
So we're gonna go get some tuna melts for dinner today.
Do you like tuna?
I actually am not a huge fan of seafood. So a tuna melt would not be my number one go-to when looking for like a warm sub.
I almost feel like tuna is not seafood though. Like the tuna I'm talking about, like canned tuna.
Yeah. No, I've had like a tuna casserole and that was okay because there's like lots of stuff going on and different flavors. So I'm just, not really thinking about the concept of fish being in there. So I could see a tuna melt being similar, like flavor-wise.
I grew up with my mom would make baked mac and cheese. So when you think of baked mac and cheese, don't think of like Velveeta creamy. It's like drier, if that makes sense. It's like baked. Anyways, she would put tuna in it for my dad. And I ended up loving it. And then on top of the tuna and the mac and cheese, you got to dip it in ketchup.
Oh, wow. No, thank you.
No, I'm telling you now, it's good.
I've just never been, I'm not a huge ketchup person anyways. And so then to put ketchup on top of my mac and cheese just doesn't sound like my first thought or instinct.
No, ketchup is the only thing I put, the only thing I put ketchup on is my mac and cheese.
Okay. One day.
You gotta try it.
We'll try these. I'm not going to knock it. Yeah, I'm not going to knock it until I've tried it. So we'll be sure to share the review of ketchup on mac and cheese with you guys.
I know. I should make it while you're here.
Okay. And I'll try it.
But I'll make it with chicken instead of tuna.
That would work. And we always love some extra protein, so that's fine.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to transition into the things that make you ponder.
Yeah. So I
So,
actually just recently found an article. I was reading Women's Health, and it was kind of an interesting topic because we're talking about exercise and mental health. Like, traditionally speaking, I think a lot of us value our mental health and our physical health. So why wouldn't they align? Like, that just sounds very like natural that both of those would go hand in hand.
yes.
But a lot of people just, I guess, don't want to put in the work because let me
Hmm.
just hit you with some stats here.
All right, I'm ready.
According to John Hopkins, an estimated 1 in 4 adults, which are in, we're only doing America 18 and up, right?
Okay.
Suffer from some sort of mental disorder. And this is diagnosed. So we're not even tapping into undiagnosed mental disorders. This is purely have gone into the doctor's office here in America. I think that is a very large number, like 1 in 4 already for adults in America. And then just thinking that there's people out there who haven't spoken to a doctor.
Yes. Yeah, if you didn't include being like properly diagnosed, I'm going to guess in today's society, this would be more.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. In
Because
2024, that number is probably like, it's got to be close to 50%.
I was going to say, I feel like I hear people all the time like, my depression, my anxiety, my this, my that. And I'm just like, why? Like, and I don't like the culture that has taken on where it's like, they're proud of it. Like, it's like, oh my God, you have anxiety too?
So
Me
do I.
too. And you're like, I'm not saying you should be ashamed, but they like, it's almost become like they parade it.
Yes.
And I'm just like, why have we gotten to this point where like, it's normal? Like,
Yeah.
the woe me culture is just like, we have lost the ability to like go through hard stuff. And like, it's okay if it's hard. It's okay if like you're struggling through whatever's going on. Like, so did like they back in the day.
No, we're
But-
also using it as a excuse. I find that when I hear about college, I'm going to use this as an example. College students these days now have been able to get the opportunity to have like mental health days if they're just not feeling it. And I'm like, so we're using like anxiety as a crutch or an excuse to get out of hard things like job interviews, a stressful day at work, like a stressful incident within the United States. Like, these used to be things that we would just back to the grind, back to work. Like, this is life, like move on. Like, so I just find it very like challenging to think about what our society looks like when we're all kind of like, oh no, I can't. Like, I'm not feeling it today. Like, no, like, go to work. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's just everyone's gotten so weak. Like, I'm not saying that it's not nice to have a day off or whatever. Like, whatever, that's fine. But I don't know. It's just like people don't know how to handle problems.
Yeah.
It's like they don't understand that like sometimes suffering is what's going to occur.
No, and it's also part of our normal life, right? So why does our body release endorphins and cortisol? It's because stress is a natural part of life. So it's like, I think we're trying to come up with ways to like eliminate a natural occurring hormone in our bodies. And it's like our body's supposed to adapt. It's supposed to overcome hard things. So I feel like we don't want to do it. We don't want to do hard stuff anymore. So then like Women's Health was trying to talk about where exercise is our most natural form of mental health medicine.
Yeah.
So, you know, why, and this is kind of like the things that make us go pondering, is why are psychiatrists and doctors not telling people to go exercise? Why is that not number one prescription? Why is the number one prescription medicine or therapy? Like, why are we not tapping into something that's free, easily accessible, something that we can tap into in our own homes? We don't even have to go out anywhere. Like, we don't have to pay money to do it. Like, so it's just like, come on.
Yeah, I think it's money. I think it's culture. Medicine's going to allow them to keep coming back to them.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's just the reality. And I think, I'm not going to say that they're all, it's not like they're all in this specific, like, group of people and they're all, like, you know, planning together and all this. But I think subconsciously, a lot of these people are like being told, yeah, do it this way, do it that way, do it this way. Because from the top, this is going to be super controversial, but from the top, they want us sick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they want us sick. They want us to be able to do whatever they tell us to do. They want us to spend money. They don't want us on the top of our game.
No, the pharmaceutical industry does not want us to exercise because that doesn't bring income in for them. Like, they want us to rely on medicines. They want us to rely on having to get that refill every month for anxiety and keep having to come in. So it's just something that we're not going to see a change, I don't think, during, hopefully something comes into play for our kids, because that was also another thing. So a recent study in Frontiers of Psychology did a study, numerous studies actually, that resistance training for 30 to 60 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week for over 6 weeks. So sticking with a program, right? Like, you have to stick with anything to make it a habit. Improved depression and anxiety in youths. So now we're even talking about children. So are we supposed to be prescribing a bunch of medication to the kids, or are they supposed to be outside playing, running around, going to PE, joining sports and activities? Like, are we basically doing what we've done and ruining the kids as well? Like, we're just doing the trickle down effect. Like,
and it's so sad that, like, it's almost like we have to read an article because it's like very common sense, right? That, like, if you are depressed, right, like, get off the couch and go move. Like, why are you going to sit in your depression? Like, that is not going to make you better to sit there and, like, just sit in your feels. Like, go be distracted, go outside, get some sun, go get some fresh air, go be with friends. Like, it might be hard, right? Like, it's hard. Of course. When you're tired, like, you don't want to get out of bed. Like, you're like, I'm exhausted. I had a terrible night. But when you actually get on a bed, it's like, okay, like, all right, my day's starting. And, like, I couldn't go back to sleep even if I wanted to right now. Like, you're up and about. So it's, like, hard to do the first initial move, right? But, like, once you get moving, then you're good. You just got to, like, stick with it.
Yeah, with anything.
It's wild that, like, that's not common sense.
No. And then it comes back to kind of what you mentioned before as well with the whoa, it's me culture, where it's like, I don't want to get out of bed. That's hard. I don't want to go make, like, a connection with my friends because that's hard to pick up the phone and ask for help. Like, these things, the first step is obviously very complicated. And then creating a workout plan, like, it just seems very daunting. So, like, someone who doesn't have exercise in their, like, regular daily routine is going to think this is, like, the end of the world. Like, I'm already sad. I'm already in my feels. Like, why would I then want to, like, go out and go to the gym? But it's one of those things where it's like, this is free, people. Like, exercise is so good for your mental health. Like, going for a jog around the neighborhood, like, it's, that's why they call it runner's high.
Just
like,
walking.
But they didn't come up with runner's high, like, for no reason. Like, you do have, a rush of hormones that come through you, and you really do feel good when you come back into your house from that run. So it's just like, I wish I could just, like, grab everybody and just be like, come on, like, let's go for a walk. Let's go grab a coffee. Like, we really don't have to be, like, sad or feeling anxious, like, and just not wanting to, like, help ourselves and just relying on a pill. Like, do you want to be on a pill for the rest of your life? Like, that's so sad. Like,
and it's like, obviously there are people that struggle with mental health. I'm not saying, like, no one struggles with it, but it's just become a fad. It's become like, I don't know, like, my ick is just like people that just love to be like, everyone needs therapy. Everyone needs it. And I'm just like,
do we?
I'm sure we could all learn things here and there, but, like, it's to normalize, like, being on a pill, or that we all have, like, mental problems, is just mind-boggling to me. Like, I don't feel personally like I've, so far in my life, that I've needed therapy. Like,
Yeah. No, and the two most common types of mental illness in the United States are depression and anxiety. And so I think a lot of us like to label ourselves as having one of those, and that it's a new society norm, that like we have this and you must be able to like support us in this stage of our life, and we're not going to snap out of it. And for some people, I know this is a diagnosed like chemical imbalance where
it's
like they are
truly
going
a
to,
problem.
yes, where they're going to need some sort of medication. They're going to need some sort of therapy.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's become like a label, like now we kind of just like walk around like, I can't do this. I can't function because I've got anxiety. And it's like, no, that's life. That's stress. Like this is a normal day. Like,
yeah, I think that's what it is. I think we've almost like changed the definition, right? So we've changed the definition of like, oh, this is like a hard point in my life. Or like this, like public speaking, right? I don't like public speaking. Ironically, here I am.
Let's make a
It's not
podcast.
public speaking, but at least I'm like behind a camera, so
Yeah.
whatever, it's okay. But I do not like public speaking. It makes me nervous. Like inside, I get the butterflies. I'm like, oh my God. Like, what if I spill too much? What if I say the wrong thing? You know, I go through all the things. But now we've turned into people don't use the word nervous anymore. It's I have anxiety. And so I feel like we're starting to morph the definition of like, instead of somebody saying like, this makes me nervous, like I don't like doing this, they've changed it to like, public speaking gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, like, is it just that you're nervous? Because that's okay. That's normal.
Yeah,
right?
that's
like,
a normal sensation to have. Yeah.
Right, but we're slapping, instead of saying nervous, now everyone's slapping this whole like, no, I have anxiety. And you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like, true anxiety is like, it overtakes your body like physically, right? Like, you hyperventilate. Like, it is a rational fear that just literally physically overtakes your body. And so I just think that we're starting to morph these normal feelings that we have, right? Like if somebody passes away, it is normal to be sad.
Yeah.
It is normal to be in the pits, right?
Yeah. It's normal to like have your 7 stages of grief associated with loss. Like go through that. Go through your feels with all of that. Like navigate all of it.
Correct. And I'm not saying that people don't get depressed from death. But I think people are just so quick to be like, I'm depressed. And it's like, well, your mom just died.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're sad and you're grieving. And like, that is totally normal that you do that. But we're just like morphing. I think that's really what it is. I think we're like morphing words to like mean something else.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know.
No. And I think it's going to be a controversial topic that it's going to stick around for a while because this is fresh. People want the easy out. They're not going to want to do the hard work. So I think this is something that we're going to see with our kids as well. So that's the hard part, is navigating the kids' mental health and then how we can support them as they navigate all of that through high school when they're going to have real challenges, you know, hormones, their bodies are changing, peer pressure from friends, studying for tests, you know, figuring out what they want to be when they grow up. These are natural, real stressors, but they might come home and tell us like, oh no, I have anxiety, I have depression, and we're going to have to help them navigate what these feelings really are. Like, so that's the hard part.
Yeah. It's just, you know, it's just such a trend to just like label yourself as something now, right? Like you can't just be, we're not just allowed to be normal.
No.
Like, it's like the new trend along with depression, anxiety, and all of that. The new trend is like, I have ADHD.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The trend for 30-something-year-old women right now, like on Instagram, of like my neurodivergent self. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah. Like what happened to just like, we have to adapt or overcome something and just being normal. Like, and just, this is a struggle that I'm facing. And that's it. Why do we have a label associated with it? Like,
yeah. And I just think like, you're a mom of 4, like, and own your own business, and you're wanting to go online and be like, I gotta have ADD, or I do this because I have ADD, and I'm just like, you're functioning fine.
Yeah.
And even if you had, I just think we have so many labels of just trying to put things on that is just, why?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are we wanting to label ourselves with like a disability?
Yeah.
Like, it's just not making sense to me. Like, it's okay if you're like a little more like, you know, back in the day, you'd be like, oh, I'm OCD about this, right?
Sure.
And it was just like, you're kind of like saying that, but we're not like, it's just like a saying, right? We are not labeling ourselves like, oh my God, I seriously have an issue. You know, it's just the way, oh, you like things a certain way. But I don't know. I just don't understand wanting to label yourself as a problem. And like I said, that's along with like, now everyone's has anxiety, depression, ADD, neurodivergent, like all these things. It's like, why can't we just be normal? Like, why can't
if you're normal, if you identify as normal, you are actually abnormal, because you're like the opposite of the traditional person, like adult that's walking around right now. Because everyone's got like, that's the other one. I feel like I've talked to friends and it's like, oh, you don't take a sleeping aid? You don't take anything for anxiety? Like, and I'm just like, no, like, isn't that normal? Like, to not have to rely on medication to like support my normal functions. Like, so I don't know. This is where we love it. We love the labels. We love to be unique and different. And we want people to support us in these titles and be sensitive to our titles. And then this is our new society norm. Like,
it's called weak, Jackie. Weak.
Yeah. We're going to get canceled here. We're calling people weak. Like,
no, I just truly don't understand it. Like, there's like Jackie. Jackie sometimes can't sit down. Like, she likes to be up and about doing all the things, but it's like, in today's society, somebody would be like, Jackie's ADD. And it's just like, no, how about she
I need a pill. Someone give me a pill. Like,
yeah, for real. Like, maybe she just doesn't like to sit too long. Like, that's okay. Like,
and I just feel like I constantly, I have stuff I need to get done. That's how my brain functions.
Right.
I'm neurodivergent.
So like but that's how people are nowadays. And it's like, no, how about that's just how you were born.
Yes.
And you like to constantly be doing something. Like, that doesn't make you have a problem. Like, just like, you know, so easily now kids, like, they expect kids to sit in school for 8 hours. And then if they're wiggly, it's like, oh, I think they have a problem. And it's like, dude, and like, most adults can't sit there for 8 hours. Like,
no, and that, I think we could talk about this for quite some time as well, is that's the new thing with school too. I feel like back in the day, kids could wiggle in their seats, kids could like not focus on their test, and teachers were a little bit easier to like dismiss this behavior, because it's like, okay, well, this child's also only 7. Can we really expect a kid to sit still for, like you said, 8 hours? Whereas nowadays it's like, we have these kids wiggling in their seats and it's like, oh, the whole class is hyperactive. Like, and it's like, no, they're children. Like, life looks differently now. A lot of screen time, you know, if we're going to get back to the basics of like sugar content and, you know, screen time and less outside activity and less like exercise and movement in these kids, like, they're going to be a little bit more stir crazy and wanting to like move around. So I just feel like we got to just leave it alone. We got to stop. Like, we're doing too much.
Yeah. And now we're in a new era where like, we're constantly being entertained by a TV or a video game. So like, you really like, even more now should be understandable a little bit that kids are not going to sit there.
Yes.
Like, back in the day, like on an airplane, like, I literally looked out the window for 3 hours.
I mean, road trips. Yeah, we didn't have iPads or any of that. So like on a road trip, you literally were like, look at that street sign. Look at that. And that was it. Look at the raindrop as it's speeding across my window. Like, that was it. That was our entertainment.
And so we sat there, right? Like, we sat there, and teachers, like, even when we wiggled and did our things, they understood. Nowadays, I feel like they should be even more understanding that kids don't do that. Kids don't just sit. Like, and it's just today's society, right? It's like, it is partially our fault, right? And it's partially society's fault. Because, like, even if you go to the doctor's office, like, there's a freaking TV on the wall. Like,
yes, we can't even sit still for 15 minutes to wait to get called back.
Even if you don't give a phone to your kid or do whatever, it's still a TV on the wall entertaining them. Like, whereas like my pediatrician didn't have that. Like, I can visualize it now. I sat on the red little like booth chair and I waited. Like, So I don't know. I just think it's worrisome, the society we live in. And I hope that our kids, like, we can raise them and, like, move through life, especially as a teenager when they're really, like, right now, we love the schools we're in. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they're kept as much away from, like, the outside as we can. As their minds are developing, but like they're gonna come a time where they're going to like high school and they're really being like influenced by the teenagers. And so far, I'm very worried about the teenagers right now.
Yes. Don't get me started.
Like half of them, maybe more, are like a weird pronoun and all these things that I'm just like, you know, like I'm there. It's not just technology. It's not just the internet. It's not just like all of that we have to be worried about. It's like other people's kids.
Yes, absolutely. We have a whole new category. I mean, even you guys were just applying for passports, and there is an option to like change your gender. Like, how have we gone so far? Like,
yeah.
So this is like
on the passport, you're either a male or a female, and that's it. Like, it's very simple.
Yeah. Like, we don't need to tap into feelings on a legal document that's issued by the government. Like,
right.
So
I don't know. It's scary.
Yeah.
I really hope we survive.
Yes.
Do we survive and all three of my kids come out normal?
I hope so. Yeah. We're going to do our best.
Like, yeah, it's scary, and I just don't know.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
No, that's fair enough. So now let's just quickly change subjects. What reality show have you been watching lately? Has there been anything that like since last week that, you know, has been like a yay or a nay? And
so Love Island.
Oh, yes. It's not our favorite show. Let's just be honest. Love Island, but it's not for us.
No. So Jackie and I gave it a shot.
Yes.
And it was like, I want to say we were 5 seconds in and me and Jackie were like, nope.
What are we watching?
Like immediately no to Love Island.
Yeah.
It immediately started out with like choreographed lip syncing music video.
Sorry, Ariana. Like, we tried. Like, I honestly was so excited because this is her show. She's hosting this show. I was here to support our girl. And then, you know, like you had said, these people all came out onto the little pier and started booty bopping and doing some terrible choreography. Yes. And we just instantly were like, wait, what? Did we turn on the right show?
Yeah, like they were literally lip syncing. Like they were just, you know, mouthing the words, doing a choreographed dance, and then like Ariana comes on and she's like, welcome to Love Island, blah, 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 and she's like going through her thing, and then she moves and the people behind her, then she starts doing the choreographed dance with them, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, these have to be influencers only.
Yeah.
Because like if I went on a dating show, like imagine the people from The Bachelor, Bachelorette, or whatever. Like old school ones. I'm not sure what the more recent one years, but like old school one where they're just like normal people, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we're gonna need you to like lip sync to this song and then do this dance, and like you're on a dance studio together, like learning. I would be like, what? Like what? What are we here for?
Yeah, even the guys. I was like, these poor dudes, like coming out here, like when they were learning the choreography, like what had to be going through their minds? Like they didn't like that.
The one guy was like pulling a suitcase through the sand, like lip syncing to the song, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then it gets better. Then they start introducing the people, like the show starts, okay? The show starts. And then it's like each individual person they're introducing, they're like twerking, half naked, like none of these people seem like they're ready to be in a relationship.
No, and these poor girls, we actually were like trying to figure it out. They never get to wear real clothes. They're just always in their bathing suits the entire show. Like, I don't feel like we ever saw them in clothes. Like, the guys got to wear clothes, but the girls don't get to wear clothes. And I'm like, so this is very, like, sexualized. Like and I
Yeah.
don't think
So
that like no matter how much they claim they're looking for love, are they really? Like, I mean, these girls were
I
twerking
don't
and
think
just
so.
wearing bikinis for an entire, I mean, it was almost 2 hours, right? Like,
No, it was. I think it was an hour and 45 minutes. So like
Jeez.
with commercials, 2 hours. And so we just shut it off.
yeah.
We're like, this is not for us. We're gonna go back to the perfect match because we're behind. We're not like caught up with everyone else. It seems like no one finds love, but
yeah. I mean, are we surprised though? Like Love Island, like
No.
did we think this would be like building successful relationships? Like,
no. It's just like something entertaining because
yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah.
feel like Netflix is lacking right now. Like, what happened to the era that there was like good shows?
Yeah, some good content. Yeah.
And I feel like there hasn't been like good shows.
No, and I think The Perfect Match is trying to do that for us because they're pulling all of the people from all of our reality shows, like The Circle and Love is Blind. So we do have our reality stars that we love to like binge
Yeah.
and like, oh, what are they up to? So we're getting a little bit of that. But Love Island was like a flop. Like these are not famous people. They're not people we know. They're not there for love. Like,
They're wannabes.
yeah, they're
You're
looking
being
for
so
clout.
kind.
Like,
Yeah, you're so kind. I just don't, Perfect Match doesn't do it for me either, though.
yeah.
Because none of them are quality either,
No, they are kind of mid for sure.
right?
Yeah.
And is Jess supposed to be on it? It hasn't come on yet.
We are not at the episode where she comes on.
Okay.
So
Okay,
we
well,
just saw,
the
I think.
men that are there
Yes.
are not good for her. Like why is she there? She has like a kid and
Yeah.
like actually needs like a real man, and these are like not real men.
No, and they're not the men that have been in successful relationships. Like we're not,
No.
these are not the quality dudes from their shows that they were on. So
Right.
it's not looking good for Jess. So unless they start inviting, like if she's a new girl and there's new guys that come that we haven't seen yet. So stay tuned.
Yeah. We'll see if I make it.
Yeah. We like never finish it. We just go over the spoilers. Just let us
I
know.
feel
Drop in the comments, guys. Let us know who makes it to the end. Does Jess find
Is
love?
anyone
Like,
still together?
probably not.
I could see you finishing it. I feel like it's more your vibe than mine.
I'm gonna stick with it because I need closure. And it's one of those that I can probably like fold laundry and watch at the same time. Let's be honest. Like good background
Yeah.
noise.
I'm in the TLC vibe.
Oh yeah, TLC. I mean, everything that TLC pumps out is quality for sure. Like,
I am at the TLC portion of my life,
yeah.
Jackie.
No, that's fair.
I
TLC is
like
good.
The little people,
Yeah.
and the fat people,
The
and
little people and the fat
the
people.
my 600
The
pound
feet,
life people.
The feet. Like,
Yes, My feet are
TLC,
killing
keep it
me.
coming with the my feet are killing me. Like,
Yeah, the Dr. Pimple Popper.
oh yeah.
Um,
Any sort of medical
but-
mystery that TLC pumps out, I'm here for it. Like
yeah,
all of it.
And
90 Day
90 Day
Fiancé.
Fiancé.
Yeah, because
Ugh.
if you're looking for the drama from the shows like Love is Blind, Love Island, Perfect Match, 90 Day Fiancé has got plenty of that.
No, really, 90 Day Fiancé is like my show. Like all of them. The Other Way, Happily Ever After. Like,
Oh yeah, all the
ask
seasons.
me
Yeah.
about those. I've watched it since literally season 1.
Wow, dedicated.
And not like I went back and watched season 1. Like I watched season 1 live.
oh,
and,
you're
like,
a loyal
on.
90 Day Fiancé follower.
Yeah.
You know these people.
So yeah, so like I didn't find the show and then go back and watch all the seasons. Like no, I watched from like episode 1 the first day it launched. And I'm committed. Like I know all of them and it's just good. I
Yeah.
don't know, maybe dating shows aren't my thing.
That's
Even
fair.
though it kind of feels like a dating show, but it's really not. Like they've already kind of like it started off like they're getting married.
Yeah, they already
You know what I mean?
committed. Like they're not looking. Like
Yeah.
they've already found their person. So that's fair.
And these are like real people, especially like now it's kind of getting, obviously it's more popular where like I think people are going on there. They are in a real relationship, but it's also like, can I get popular from this? But back in the day it was like legit people that like don't even have Instagrams right now. Like
Yeah.
those are the
No,
kind of
for sure.
people.
They're not looking for clout
Like-
because clout didn't even exist back then. Like,
Yes. So those are my shows. Those are
yeah.
my shows.
No, that's fair enough. Well, I know it never seems like it, but we've almost been talking for an hour. So I feel like we could just keep going, but then we'll just basically, be going on forever and never stop.
I know. So thanks for joining.
Yes.
Make sure you, on Spotify that you rate us.
Like and subscribe. If you're gonna rate us
less, then just don't even rate us.
Yeah, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram. Just stay tuned. Yeah. Keep up with us.
Thank you for joining. And if you're listening to this, because we have nobody listening to us right now, I'm just kidding. I don't know if we are. We don't or not. But if you're
don't
listening
speak that
us,
negativity into the universe.
You're
People
probably going back in time.
Yeah. Yes.
You're going back in previous episodes.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.